Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite Grandslam, the September 22nd, 2021 review. I'd like to start off by saying thank you very much for helping the channel out by reaching 200 subs. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all the kind support that you guys want to provide to this channel. And I love hearing from you guys. I love the interaction I get from you guys with the rants that I do on WWE. And for the people that do tune in for the regular reviews, thank you very much for checking out what I have to say on these episodes. I know I'm not the best talker in the world, but I try my best, and I try to deliver the best reviews possible. I know I'm not the greatest. I know I'm not even in the top of my game, but I try my best every single time I come on here. Sometimes I'm very exhausted. Sometimes I'm just really just tired off my ass from what I do for my own to make my own living. So for you guys that tune in and check my channel out, I greatly appreciate it, and I really appreciate the love and support you guys give me every single time that you click on those videos. And yeah, it's been a long run for this channel, 5+ years, and only have reached 200 subs. Pretty fucking pathetic in my opinion, but there's an explanation why. I got sidetracks on personal things in my life with girlfriends and things of that sort, and I didn't take this very seriously. In the last year, I have taken this channel extremely serious, and I have done everything I can to make this the best show possible. Once I make my big move, I'm going to be making some serious changes with this channel. I'm going to get a really good camera. I may start doing live shows on a weekly basis and give you guys some reviews live instead of just me uploading these videos. But bottom line, it's been a lot of fun for the last year and a half or so that I've been really taking this seriously and trying to give you guys the best content possible. I'm working off of very limited technology. I do every review off of my cell phone, actually. Record this in audio format and then upload it with a nice pic of some kind of thing related to what I'm talking about for that video. So I know that it's not the greatest work that you guys could possibly imagine, but I promise you, as I get settled in for the new place I'm moving into, I will definitely start making some changes to this channel and start learning some of the techniques and using some of the technology that some of these other YouTubers actually provide on their channel. I'm going to start doing that as well and try to get better with this technology. But getting off of the channel, let's get into the review. Folks, if you didn't like Dynamite tonight, what are you smoking, man? Really, what are you fucking smoking? This was an excellent show. There was really nothing bad about it. The match that kickstarted the show, which blew me away, was Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson in a non-title match that went 20+ minutes. I believe it was supposed to go 20 minutes. So there was the time limit, and they went to a draw. This was pay-per-view main event type matchup between these two guys, and what better decision did they go with was a draw. I think that was the best option in this situation. Neither one of these guys could afford a loss. You got Kenny Omega as the world champion, Bryan Danielson making his in-ring debut. You can't afford to have him lose, and you can't do that with Kenny Omega either being the champion going into this. So they did the right thing. Now, This could lead to a title match with them going at it at the Full Gear pay-per-view. My attitude on this is, if they go with the world title match between these two guys and they have this happen, I would go with another draw. I would play this out to where they are evenly matched. Neither one of them can beat the other. The time limit gets involved. They take the time limit off. You could go ahead and say at Full Gear, there is no time limit. It ends with a decision. And they end up doing like a WWE type ending where they're on the top rope. They do a suplex and both of their shoulders are pinned to the mat and they get another draw. At that point, if you really wanted to go with this, which I don't think they should, is you go to a submission instead of pinfalls. So that's another option. But I'm not going to say they should do any of that. Maybe they should just completely move away from Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega for the World Championship for right now and do this maybe at another pay-per-view. But right now, I think they should avoid anything with Bryan Danielson, excuse me. Because let's be real, the more they keep messing around with Bryan Danielson with Kenny Omega, they're going to have to give him the title. And I don't think anyone wants to see Bryan Danielson lose at all. So at this point, people are going to want to see Bryan Danielson win matches and, keep getting W's. So until they give him enough W's on Dynamite and Rampage and put him in a really good feud on a pay-per-view, I don't think anyone really needs to worry about a world title match with Bryan Danielson. But I'll be the first one to admit, I think this match should have been for the World Championship, simply because of the fact that that Bryan Danielson has proven himself in WWE. Now, granted, people will say, well, AEW don't give a fuck what you did in WWE. I understand that, but this guy is a public figure. He is more than just some fucking guy that couldn't cut it in WWE because WWE didn't see anything in them. Bryan Danielson, they saw something in him in WWE, and they made him a superstar eventually because of what we did as fans, wanting him to get that push, and they saw that maybe they made the wrong decision, and they went with him anyway. So there has been a proving ground with Bryan Danielson as a major figurehead in pro wrestling. Not to mention, he started the Yes Movement. The Yes Movement has been used in other sporting events. This is, in my mind, I feel that he is like a Hulk Hogan type figure. In a way, not saying he's full-blown Hulk Hogan type of shit, but you get my point. That's the reason why I feel that Bryan Danielson getting a world championship opportunity wouldn't have been bad. But, again, I don't think he should have won the title either, even if it was on the line. The best decision would have been the same thing we got here anyway. So it all cancels out in the end. But with the in-ring action that took place, fucking superb. This was the best match on the entire card. And the main event with the Women's Championship match was not bad either. But that was not the main event. Or that was not the best match on the card. Even though it was really good. It was probably the second best match on the card. If this match wouldn't have taken place, I would have said the Women's Championship match was the best match on the card. So, but hands down, these guys were great. CM Punk came out after this match was over. He went ahead and first comment that came out of his mouth is, man, I would not want to be on this card tonight because that is hard to follow. And he was 100% right. There wasn't one fucking match on this card that came close to Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. That was an amazing match. Superb match. I know fucking Dave Meltzer will be getting hard on from that fucking match. With his 6 and 7 star plus matches out of 5. I'm just joking with you guys, but whatever. Anyway, so CM Punk, he shows up. Like I said, he talks about how he wouldn't want to be on the card. And he said, people have been asking me, when are we going to get the old CM Punk back? When are we going to get that angry, mad CM Punk? And he said, well, last week, what Will Hobbs and Team Taz did to me definitely brought that old CM Punk back. I am angry. I'm pissed off. But when I come through those curtains and I hear Cult of Personality and hearing all you guys cheering for me and being so happy to see me, it warms my heart up and it makes me not want to be mad. It makes me happy. And it's true, man. I mean, I've gone to these shows and I'll tell you what, man, there is no better feeling than being at a show live than watching it on television. Yeah, you get to watch it on TV in the comfort of your own home. You get to see things up close from the cameras and everything. And it's not as cool when it comes to viewing pleasure. But when you're there live, you get that the audience just brings out so much in the show, and it makes it so much entertaining than just sitting at home and watching it. Extreme Rules 2011 I saw, and the card was not that great. It was average. This Extreme Rules pay-per-view coming up ain't even extreme at all. I don't even know what the fuck it is. Might as well be just a no-name show. But, yeah, 2011 Extreme Rules, I was expecting an average pay-per-view. Being there live, folks, was so much fun. It was amazing. It was entertaining as fuck. The crowd was into it. I mean, I was shouting out all kinds of crazy chants that barely anyone really cared to chant with me on that one. But whatever, I was trying to stir up a chant, but nobody clicked with it. Oh well, who cares? But yeah, it was a blast. And seeing that live, I also went to a SmackDown live show that took place here in Tampa at the Amalie Arena where the Lightning play on a Sunday night in December, and I had a blast with that too. Overall, it is fun as shit to be at a live show for any wrestling promotion because it feels so different. And with CM Punk saying the things he says, I know how he feels because even though I'm not being chanted for or cheered on, I feel completely different. Like a weight is lifted off my shoulders and I feel so happy to actually be around people that share the same common interests that I have. And it makes me feel like I'm part of something. And I'm pretty sure that's how CM Punk feels when he comes out to that crowd and they all cheer for him and value him as a professional wrestler. So I think it's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, he says he is pissed, but he's happy the fans want him around, and he is happy to be part of pro wrestling again. And he felt that Will Hobbs' attitude was trying to take him out of pro wrestling once again. And CM Punk said, I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm never leaving pro wrestling until I am deemed to retire, technically is what he was trying to say. But he says he's never leaving pro wrestling on bad terms in that sense. So that is the overall consensus of that promo. And he said he's looking forward to being on Rampage to kick Will Hobbs' ass and do what he does best, and that's put him to sleep. So that was the end of that promo. And a very good promo at that. I mean, folks, I see a totally different CM Punk in AEW than I ever saw a CM Punk in WWE. CM Punk in WWE looked like he was tired, really agitated, didn't particularly care to be there. He just was there to do a job. Here, he looks like he really loves what he's doing. He's genuinely doing it because he likes it. He's not doing it because it's just a job to pay for his bills and keep a roof over his head. It's something because he likes doing it. So I honestly think that's great, and it's bringing out better work out of CM Punk on top of it. So kudos to him, and I'm happy he's doing what makes him happy. So we had MJF and Brian Pillman as the second match. Brian Pillman Jr. to be exact, so you guys don't get confused. My friend Matt decided to critique me on that on one video where I called him Brian Pillman, not Brian Pillman Jr., which I don't understand what the fuck big deal is. Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys thought there was anything wrong with me just calling him Brian Pillman. Because my friend Matt seems to have an issue with that. Fucking jackass. Just kidding, Matt. Anyway. MJF Brian Pillman match was pretty okay. Brian Pillman didn't exactly get the kind of offense I was figuring he was going to get. This wasn't even really remotely close. I mean, Brian Pillman had some offense in there for a while, and then near the end, it just MJF slaughtered him and beat his ass to a pulp. He eventually ends up making him tap out and getting the win over Brian Pillman Jr. We see Jericho and Hager with Alex Marvez. They're ready to snack on some meatheads in the Big Apple. And they were talking about the MMA fighters, and they're looking forward to the match that they got with the Men of the Year with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. That should be a pretty decent matchup. Definitely a great rub for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky at this point, since they haven't done nothing since Sting and Darby Allin. So kudos to them on getting a match like that. Hopefully they get a big win, possibly. I think that's a possibility. I think that would be a good idea for them to do. So only time will tell when we see that match. Malachi Black defeated Cody Rhodes. This match actually was worse than their first match. I didn't really particularly care for this match so much. This was okay for what it was, but it was nowhere near the first one. Malachi Black won by cheating with the Black Mist to the face. Cody Rhodes was being booed as if he was John Cena of AEW, which I guess quite a few people would probably agree with me. I don't know if they were doing that because they genuinely hate Cody Rhodes, or they were just doing it for the sake of just having fun with it. And it did seem like it distracted Cody for a little bit throughout the match. Another thing to mention during this match, Arn Anderson got knocked off the apron. He kind of fell down for some strange reason. I don't know why. And Cody seemed a little concerned. He wanted to check on him, and Arn Anderson looked at him and said, "What the hell's wrong with you? Go focus on your match and get back to work." He had Malachi Black on the outside, so he grabbed him, pulled him in the ring, had him in the corner, and he was trying to attack him. Referee was trying to stop him from attacking Malachi Black in the corner after he's reached the count of 4, grabbed his arm, and Cody just shoved him out of the way. Referee's back was turned, and Cody got Black Mist to the eyes by Malachi Black and got the 1, 2, 3 right after that. So that was really kind of not a very strong way to finish the match. Not as good as their first match, like I said before. Was the crowd into it? Yeah, absolutely. This was a good match overall, but the ending just sucked. The ending was terrible. There was a lot of issues going on that I didn't like here, such as Arn Anderson. He seemed like he was having issues. I don't know if this was part of the match or this was a real thing that was taking place where Arn Anderson was just having some kind of issue holding his balance or some shit. But it was kind of weird. And he just slipped off the apron at one point. I guess he was trying to distract Malachi Black to give an advantage to Cody, and he just kind of slipped for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's very awkward. We then cut to a video exchange between Miro and Sammy Guevara. Sammy will challenge Miro for the TNT Championship next week. When he wins, Sammy will buy Fuego del Sol a new car. I don't know why he needs to buy him a new car when Miro shoved the keys down his fucking throat. He should have been able to pull that out of his mouth and be able to take his car, because I don't think Miro had any care in the world of taking his car to begin with. I'm sure he has plenty of cars of his own that he's bought on his own, so I don't know. Pretty fucking dumb. Anyway, we had match number 4, which was FTR versus Sting and Darby Allin. Sting and Darby Allin pick up the victory. Sting gets the tap out by Dax being in the sharpshooter. And that's pretty much the end of that match. The match was pretty basic. Nothing extraordinary took place in this match. Seemed like an average matchup. Nothing to cry home about. FTR winning or losing this match, I don't know if that was the right decision. Simply because they are a tag team. And they've been suffering some losses here. I mean, Santana and Ortiz has been winning a lot of their beat them twice, and then they lost twice against Santana and Ortiz, and now they're losing to Sting and Darby Allin, who's not really technically a tag team. That's pretty fucking pathetic, in my personal opinion. So FTR has been kind of taking a drop in the rankings when it comes to tag team wrestling. Then we got the main event, AEW Women's Championship match, Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker. What can I say? They had a good match. These two women exchanged a lot during this matchup. There was a distraction at the end. Ruby Soho got a whiplash to the throat in the ropes by, I think Jamie Hayter is the one who got that. Performed that on Ruby Soho, and then Britt Baker applied the lockjaw on Ruby Soho to close out the match with the tap out instantly after applying the hold. So yeah, probably the best match on the card would be the opener, of course. Second best match was the Women's Championship match. Third best match, I guess I would say Brian Pillman Jr. and MJF, because there was a lot of emotional feelings there. He had a lot to say to Julia Hart, which was very offensive. He acted like he was going to hit her, which was very heel-like type of tactic, and that would have worked out very well in his favor, to be honest. But bottom line, the show is decent, and overall it was very entertaining. I think the match that kick-started the show and the match that ended the show were the two best things on the entire card, while the rest of it was pretty good. So yeah, I'm not going to complain. I think this was a very entertaining show, and it was well worth your 2 hours. And if you didn't think it was, well, I don't know what to fucking tell you. But tough shit, because on this channel, we're pro AEW. Because if I had to choose between AEW and WWE, I'd have to take AEW, because AEW cares about its fans. They're connected with their fans. They have a fan base. They care about what the fans think. They care about the fans' opinions. And they hear them. WWE does not. So until WWE hears their fans, what is the fucking point of really caring about WWE? There is none. That's why AEW exists. Thank you very much. I bid you a good night. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button, of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.